Good evening. I'm Frank Morgan, and as president of the St. George's Society of New York, it's my pleasure to welcome you this evening to our 2021 AGM in our 251st year. Notice of the meeting has gone out, proxies have been solicited, and a quorum is present, so I declare the meeting open for business. Our business this evening is to receive the reports of the officers, committee chair, and staff, and to elect our directors and officers for the ensuing year. But before we turn to that, I wanted to share a few reflections of this past year. It seems like an eon ago, or a lifetime ago, last January when we gathered at the Hearst Tower for our AGM and the wonderful reception with the British American Business and British Consulate to launch our 250th anniversary year. Bob Titley and his committee had a whole range of things we were going to do to help celebrate, and our patron, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, was going to come and spend a week with us, visiting our scholars and our beneficiaries and helping us celebrate. All of that was either shelved, deferred, or went virtual. We all felt a sense of dislocation and isolation, but none more so than our beneficiaries, our students, and our families. Our beneficiaries, as you know, are mostly elderly and many have underlying health conditions. They were absolutely terrified of going out, even for groceries and essential medical supplies. Sadly, we lost a number of them to COVID in this period of time. But our wonderful social workers, Mary and Julie, had virtual sessions, telephone sessions, some socially distanced meetings, and we augmented that with volunteers who became phone pals to call up these beneficiaries to help with the loneliness they were suffering. We also realized that we needed to do something extra special, which was to do care packages every other week. And I want to thank everyone involved in that process, from sourcing the materials and the food and also delivering it. It was a lifesaver for our beneficiaries. And at Christmas time, thanks to UBS and KPMG, they came together with a program to pay for, develop, and deliver Christmas gifts at a very lonely time of the year. Our students similarly faced challenges. Obviously, many of them had part-time jobs that dried up. There were financial issues there. They were working at home remotely in small spaces with family and other distractions, and they were worried about getting a job after graduation in this COVID world. So we developed virtual mentoring programs and counseling on obtaining jobs. And our families, we helped them navigate the travel restrictions that came into place and also how to deal with New York in a lockdown situation. But we wanted to do something special beyond our regular programs, which were key and important, obviously. So Chris and Jennifer's and Victor DePino, with the help of Jennifer Sponzili, put together a program to buy PPE, which we delivered to area hospitals. And that was at a time it was critically needed. Sadly, during the year, we lost 3 of our advisory council members, Sir Harold Evans, Lady Barbara Judge, and William Miller. Bill Miller was a past president of the society and a generous donor and was going to be honored at the English Ball that did not occur. And we're going to miss them all. I want to acknowledge several legacies during the year. Our good friend that many of us knew, Ellsworth Stanton, left his royal memorabilia collection and a cash bequest. And Morris Burnett, a past president, also left a bequest. For those who have not remembered St. George's and their estate planning, this is a very important part of the funding to continue our programs after our earthly pilgrimage ends. So I'd encourage you to think about that. We also launched in January a 250th anniversary appeal for $2.5 million. And I'm pleased to say that we have reached 80+% of that goal, which is terrific, but we still have a ways to go. And if you're able to make a contribution or know someone who can, that would be greatly appreciated. We want to meet that goal, and if we can, exceed that goal. During the year, we lost our executive director, Anna Titley, after 11 years association with St. George's. She and her husband and a new career opportunity moved to Houston, and we miss her. But we were delighted to be able to attract Claire Reisman, a former director of the Society and employee at the British Consulate, to become our new executive director. She began in October, hit the ground running, and you will hear more from her later in the program. One other thing I wanted to mention is our lease was up and we did a canvas of opportunities and found that we actually could save money by buying an office condominium over the long term. And we did that in December. It's 866 UN Plaza, just north of the United Nations. It's a lower floor, but it overlooks the river and the statue of St. George slaying the dragon, so it seems totally appropriate. We'll move in March or April of this year. I want to thank Cliff Franklin for spearheading this effort and for arranging low-cost financing, Alistair Standing for doing many drawings for this space and others, and Aston Fine Arts and Sea and Air International for transportation, logistics, and storage of some of our materials. I also want to thank our wonderful staff. We could not have done this without them. It was a very challenging time. They operated remotely and very effectively, and we all owe them a great deal of gratitude. I also want to thank each of you for your continued support of the St. George's Society of New York and our important work. You are part of our community that makes this all happen. And with that, I will pass you over to our wonderful secretary, Josephine Haft.
Before I give the Secretary's report, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of our community we lost in 2020. We share our deepest sympathies with their families and friends. Each and every one of these individuals has left a mark on the heart of St. George's Society, and we remember them dearly. Membership currently stands at 568, and revenue from dues in 2020 was over $58,000, a decrease from the previous year. In 2020, we welcomed 100 new members versus 155 in 2019. We can attribute our decline in numbers largely to the pandemic and our inability to host in-person events, which account for a large part of our recruitment efforts. We did see a trend towards members upgrading their membership in 2020, and we extend our sincerest thanks to those who chose to increase their annual commitment. In 2020, per the membership committee's recommendations approved by the board, the Society implemented changes to the membership application process, namely the reintroduction of sponsors, both the proposer and seconder, for new members. Those joining at the President's Circle level and above are exempt from this requirement. Additionally, new membership categories were established: Friend, for individuals with no prior connection to the Society, as well as non-residents, and Benefactor, a tier above President's Circle for those wishing to make a greater annual commitment to the Society's mission. The Benefactor level is available to both individual and joint memberships. The proposed fee increase has been postponed. We will share updates on this and any further changes with members as they become available. Finally, I would like to thank the membership committee for its time, effort, and expertise as we look towards the future of the Society. I'll now hand over to Hastings Hill, who will provide a membership engagement update.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone for giving our team grace and patience and encouragement as we transition to virtual working due to COVID realities. Navigating our new normal has been undoubtedly difficult, but your support during this time has been truly, truly invaluable. Whilst the pandemic may have upended our events calendar, kindness wasn't canceled in 2020, and that's thanks to you. At the onset of stay-at-home orders, you shared ideas and resources to keep us all going during quarantine. We had an outpouring of engagement with our first digital initiative to celebrate our 250th anniversary. Members and friends from all over the world raised a cuppa with us on St. George's Day as a part of our Tea for 250 birthday celebrations. With unprecedented levels of participation across social media and an increase of over 100% in engagement compared to previous years, it was truly a wonderful sight to behold. In our moment of need, members donated their time, their funds, and even their birthdays to be there for the individuals and families we serve. You joined us for webinars, virtual meet and greets, and pub quizzes. Special shout out to our resident quizmaster extraordinaire, Charles Aerosmith, for helping us raise over $8,500 last year alone. And with members logging on and tuning in from across the US and even across the pond, you showed us that our community is not limited by geographic or physical boundaries, and that our purpose is as relevant and vital today as it was in 1770. Members are an integral part to the Society's ability to carry out our 250-year mission. As we move forward in 2021, I would encourage you to consider ways that you can increase your impact this year. If your employer operates a matching gift program, they can match your donation and double or even triple your contribution to our charitable purpose. Consider upgrading your membership to a higher level if you're in a position to do so, or encourage those you know to become members of St. George's Society. With every new member that you introduce, you not only strengthen our charitable mission, but you also connect your friends and family with a vibrant and influential network. Or better yet, gift a membership to a friend or loved one and give them the opportunity to be a part of our dynamic community. As always, if you have any questions regarding membership or ways that you can get involved, please don't hesitate to contact us via email or just give us a call. And now I'd like to hand things over to Cliff Franklin for the Treasurer's Report.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cliff Franklin. I am the current treasurer. I'm going to give you my very boring report now. So we may have some graphics. Our operating income was down, as you would expect, for the year. We actually had a deficit of $287,000, which is not good. However, we still were able to maintain our charitable program, and actually we extended our charitable program. Our beneficiary program was slightly under budget, but unfortunately we lost a couple of people to COVID. Scholarship program was up, as you probably heard or will hear in the scholarship report. And our emergency grants was up. This was thanks to all the volunteers that got together to do emergency food packages to our beneficiary. I think as a society member, everyone should be very proud of that program and the work that was put in for that. Our deficit in income was helped by some operating savings. We actually saved $367,000 in operating expenses. This was thanks to Anna's leadership and subsequently through Claire's leadership and all the guys at the office, really being cognizant of costs, etc. The good news is, as many of you know, we are moving to a new space that we own. Now, that may sound extravagant at this time, but we took advantage of very low property rates and low lending rates. And this the property is actually going to save around $5,000 a month in operating costs. So it represents great value for the society. And we have an asset that we can cherish and add to our balance sheet. The endowment did awfully well. Through 2020, the fund increased by $1.1 million. This is fantastic. Our endowment really does help with our operating costs and ensures that we can meet our charitable mission. So that's really great. And that is the boring report over and done with. I will now hand over to Missy for the Beneficiary Committee Report.
Hi, I'm Missy Gibbs, and I'll give the Beneficiary Committee Report. As a quick reminder, the Beneficiary Program is the longest-standing charitable program of St. George's Society, which provides financial and quality of life support to at-risk seniors, protecting them from homelessness, poverty, isolation, and neglect. In 2020, we served 98 vulnerable seniors and distributed $445,777 in financial assistance. Our beneficiaries come from 15 countries throughout the UK and the Commonwealth, and they live across all 5 boroughs of New York. The average age is 75. Their average income is $860 a month, and the average stipend is $450 a month. As we all know, 2020 was no normal year for any of us, but for our beneficiaries, a particularly at-risk group has been especially hard hit. Sadly, 10 of our seniors died this year, 4 of COVID. St. George Society expanded both our financial and emotional support to offset the impact of the pandemic. Paired 37 beneficiaries with phone pals to help battle loneliness and to give them a friend to chat with to help pass the time, sharing recipes, stories of their early years in New York, and anything else. When things felt safer, our brave, intrepid social workers went to meet our seniors, holding over 15 outdoor meetings, bringing their own chairs. For months, care packages of food and household supplies were purchased, individually packed, and personally delivered. In total, this initiative provided over 7,500 meals to beneficiaries. As well as the support we provided, we also wanted to send some cheer to our beneficiaries during the holiday season. Our friends at Jones Wood Foundry generously donated Thanksgiving meals for many of our beneficiaries to enjoy. In December, corporate partners UBS and KPMG funded our beneficiary holiday gift packages for Operation Deliver Hope. One of our overwhelmed beneficiaries said, "What would we have done without St. George's help when we could not go to stores?" Thank you to everyone who's helped make this much needed work be possible during one of the most difficult years we have experienced. Next, you'll hear from our Manton social worker, Mary Lamesney, who will be sharing a story with you about one of our late beneficiaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. In 2020, the Society was faced with protecting some of New York City's most vulnerable people. In the US, we were the epicenter of this global pandemic. The community rallied around our beneficiaries and provided food, telephone contact, reassurance, masks, and hope that we would get through this together. Sadly, we had 4 beneficiaries who died of COVID-19. I would like to share with you the story of one of these beneficiaries and how we were able to provide comfort to distant loved ones and a dignified ending. Martin Randall was a 76-year-old British gentleman. He received a small monthly stipend from the Society for the last 10 years. He enjoyed music, the New York Times crossword puzzle, his new apartment in a recently built senior development, and his glass of wine at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Martin fell down in mid-February, fracturing his hip. In normal times, he would have had surgery and short-term rehab in a nursing home. But during COVID-19, this necessary treatment exposed him to the awful virus. By late March, he was dying from respiratory failure. His 88-year-old sister in England contacted us with a request. Could we help with a funeral? She was anxious that her dear younger brother would be designated an unclaimed body at the morgue. Martin's death on April 3rd was one of 753 in New York City that day. We contacted our overwhelmed funeral director, Steve Baxter. Steve and the team at Gannon's Funeral Home were able to provide Martin with a dignified ending, which then provided comfort to his sister. She wrote a lovely thank you card to us expressing her feelings of affection to the Society. Thank you for taking care of my Martin. I do not know how I would have managed any of this without your organization. And now I will turn over the presentation to my colleague, Julie Rosenberg, to highlight a positive success story from 2020.
Thanks, Mary. There were a lot of sad endings this past year, but I want to share with you a much happier story from 2020, thanks to the help of St. George's Society. In January, we received an emergency call from a legal service attorney who explained that the city marshal was about to evict an elderly couple from their home of 40 years. They were scheduled to be locked out of their apartment and to be forced to go to a homeless shelter in 5 days because they had no one to help pay the arrears they owed to the landlord. The couple, originally from Trinidad, worked hard their whole lives, but unfortunately, both suffered from major physical ailments, which prevented them from earning enough to pay their rent. The wife has stage 4 renal failure and requires dialysis 3 times a week, and the husband has a back injury from driving a taxi for many years and can no longer work. Their rent was more than their combined Social Security income, and they fell behind after exhausting their savings. Hearing about their scary fate, we went out the next day, assessed their situation, and by agreeing to give them a stipend, we were able to get a grant from the City of New York to pay off all of their rental arrears and call off the imminent eviction. This would not have happened if St. George's Society didn't sign on to assist. We were able to end this housing crisis for 2 elderly individuals who had nowhere else to turn. They also avoided the COVID bullet because undoubtedly they would have been at higher risk in a shelter or a nursing home. But I'm happy to report they remain safely in their apartment, have benefited from St. George's Society paying a portion of their rent directly to the landlord, and are now getting all of the benefits for which they are entitled, and even got the much welcomed relief from our food deliveries and Christmas gifts. And while their rent was only $150 more a month than their income, if you don't have the money, it can mean losing your home. The St. George's Society was able to stop the eviction of this elderly couple, and I think everyone can agree that this was a real bright spot for us in 2020. Although we're in a new year, the same vulnerabilities still exist for so many of our elderly neighbors. We witnessed firsthand in 2020 how the pandemic significantly increased the need for financial and emotional support for seniors. But that need still exists in 2021. Without you, our work would not be possible. So on behalf of myself and Mary Lemasny, the Beneficiary Committee, and all of our seniors, thank you to everyone who has helped us fulfill our program's mission. If you're interested in supporting our beneficiary program, please contact our team. I will now hand it over to David Drinkwater for the Scholarship Committee report.
Thank you very much, Julie. I'm David Drinkwater, and I'm here to update you on the scholarship program. As a reminder, the program was established in 2008 to help low-income final year students of British and Commonwealth heritage complete their education and launch their careers. Since its inception, we've awarded over $1 million to nearly 400 students at Lehman College in the Bronx and Hunter College in Manhattan. Last year, we awarded $123,000 to 26 students. We also reached our goal of serving students across all 5 boroughs, as we welcome students from the College of Staten Island, Queens College, and City Tech in Brooklyn. The expansion of the program was due to a generous grant from the Manton Foundation, especially welcome in a year when COVID forced cancellation of the English Ball, which is usually our primary fundraising activity. Despite COVID, the Society also maintained our enrichment activities for students. We adapted and conducted our mentoring program virtually, and we hosted a networking night in the fall with students, alumni, and members. This spring, we'll host a virtual careers workshop for students. If you are interested in volunteering with our students, please contact Eliane. The work and the program growth would not be possible without the support of donors and our pathway partners. If you're interested in sponsoring a student with a named scholarship, personally or through a company, please contact Hastings. 2020 represented challenges for all of us, but for those of us already facing day-to-day financial obstacles, the pandemic was particularly devastating. Before receiving their awards, many of our 2020 scholars found themselves waiting for hours in line at food pantries, forced to choose between basic necessities or purchasing books, and having lost part-time jobs crucial to offset the cost of their education. Higher education serves as an engine for social mobility and economic growth, benefiting the individual, their families, and our community. St. George's is proud to help pave the way for a brighter future for our students throughout New York City. I'd now like to take a moment to thank the Scholarship Committee for their support and assistance in running the program. And finally, I'm honored to have served as the Scholarship Committee Chair for the last 3 years, but now I'm going to be shifting my focus on fundraising and development. And as a result, I'm very happy to announce the new Chair of the Scholarship Committee, David Martinelli. David is a past board member and is actively involved in various educational groups and initiatives, including the British Schools and Universities Club, the UK Alumni Group, and the King's College Alumni Network. Congratulations and welcome to David. I'll now hand over to Eliane for an update on the Waterstone Family Support Fund.
Thanks, David. The Waterstone Family Support Fund launched in 2018 to assist families traveling from the UK to New York for pediatric cancer treatment. St. George's Society offers support with logistics such as organizing transport to and from the airport, accompanying families to their first doctor's appointment, arranging special activities, and helping families navigate the Big Apple. 2020 presented many new challenges and concerns for families seeking treatment abroad, but I'm happy to share we welcomed 15 families to New York during 33 different trips across the pond. Trips ranged from 3 months to 3 days, depending on the treatment needed and travel restrictions at the time. We organized activities such as socially distanced visits, soccer in the park, rooftop lunches, and surprise deliveries ranging from celebratory cookie cakes to toys and games. One family from last year that really stands out to me is the Easton family. Mom, dad, and their 14-year-old daughter, Ashley, arrived here with high hopes for life-saving treatment last March, but just 1 week before New York City shut down. They were stranded here for over 3 months in a hotel room, away from their family in Scotland, and during a time where New York City felt unfamiliar, even to those who had lived here their entire lives. Despite the pandemic, our team rallied, sending care packages to the family and providing regular check-ins. After their first visit, Ashley's family returned to New York in the summer, again in the fall, for her continuing treatment. However, in October, they discovered that Ashley's blood counts were off and the treatment wasn't possible at that time. They had no choice but to fly back to Scotland and monitor when she would be ready to continue her treatment. In December, Ashley's blood counts were finally where they needed to be, and the family returned to New York, but only to begin the entire treatment process again. Just days before Christmas, St. George's Society was able to purchase special treats and gifts for the family, as well as organize the delivery of a delicious roast dinner to enjoy on Christmas Day. It is the small acts of kindness that often have the biggest impact. And although not the Christmas they expected, the Easton family were delighted with the deliveries provided by our community to make their time away from home and their Christmas a little more manageable. Neuroblastoma is an especially aggressive form of pediatric cancer. For teens like Ashley, the options for treatment that ensure a long life are very limited. Ashley's mom, Lisa, shared with me that one Christmas in a hotel far away from home was well worth it if it meant Ashley lives a long life. So thank you for all of your support and for helping families like Ashley's to ensure a healthy, brighter future. Also, thank you to everyone that volunteered their time to help with airport transfers or sponsor a special activity for families. If you or your company are interested in getting involved in the Waterstone Family Support Program, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will now pass on the virtual microphone to Philip Warner for the nominating committee report.
Good evening, everybody. Today, 4 directors will be retiring from the board after serving their 3-year term. They are Kasia Bannon, Joanne Davidson, David Martinelli, and Neil Smith. I know that you will join me in thanking them for their service over the last 3 years, for their dedication, and for their valuable contributions. I wish to thank the nominating committee, Richard Sexton, Bob Titley, Joanne Davidson, and Claudine Moore for their work in identifying and proposing 4 new directors to serve a 3-year term. With the full support of the nominating committee, I am pleased to submit the 2021 slate of nominations for the consideration of the Society. I now propose a motion to elect the officers and members of the Board of Directors as set forth in the report of the nominating committee. All in favour, please select aye in the poll that appears on your screen. Motion carried. Thank you. I look forward to getting together with you later this year. And now our Executive Director, Claire Risman.
Thank you, Philip, and thank you to all of our previous speakers. I would also like to add my thanks to Kasia, Joanne, David, and Neil, our outgoing board members, for all they have done during their tenure. You never really leave St. George's Society, so I look forward to staying in touch. And congratulations to our incoming board members, Tori, Ricardo, Rita, and Marcus. I look forward to working with you all. I joined St. George's as Executive Director just over 100 days ago, and as you've heard, we've been busy. COVID has impacted everyone in our community and every aspect of our work. It will continue to do so in the months and years ahead. I knew that Anna, my fantastic and very popular predecessor, led a passionate team. As a former board director, I knew that St. George's Society delivered great work. I had less visibility on the impact our community, members, partners, and friends had on the life of our beneficiaries across all 3 of our programs, some of which you've heard about already. It is important that we continue to communicate the positive impact we have on our neighbours. We want you to be proud of the difference you make. It's been inspiring to witness the quiet acts of kindness demonstrated by many St George Society members, so thank you. It's been humbling to receive touching letters and notes from beneficiaries expressing gratitude for our life-changing aid. And it's been satisfying to receive plaudits from our education and human services partners praising what we achieved together. We know that for all those we help, there are many more we could support if we had the resources. As Executive Director, my obligation is to ensure the smooth and efficient running of the office, lead efforts to retain and grow our membership, and increase our revenue streams so that we can secure the long-term future of our charitable programmes, safeguarding the legacy established 251 years ago. The purchase of our office is an exciting new chapter. We hope to move in during the spring, and we look forward to welcoming you to visit us once conditions allow. The February newsletter will have a comprehensive note on the office purchase and move, so do look out for that. I want to add my recognition to the work of Alistair and Cliff and the resilience of my team as we work entirely remotely. So thank you, Elianne, Hastings, Mary and Julie. It's a real frustration that we're unable to meet our members and beneficiaries in person, but like everyone, we are trying to make the best of it. It was a pleasure to personally deliver Thanksgiving lunch to some of our beneficiaries. The smiles and appreciation was evident, even behind the masks. They know we care. Joining a virtual networking event with scholars, I was blown away by the poise and resilience of these exceptional New Yorkers. The future of our city is in great hands if we help them. As Frank mentioned, lots of our in-person 250th anniversary activity was impacted. As successful as it was, having delivered one virtual gala, we hope we don't have to deliver another. But thanks to Rich and Peter for all their efforts. We would dearly love to have an end of COVID in-person event this year. We'll see what happens with that. But we have moved the English Ball from May to October, and we're keeping that under review. We've moved our 250th anniversary online art auction to this year, and we hope to be able to have the anniversary members dinner when conditions allow. Over the next 2 months, I'm reviewing our strategy to ensure that we can meet our charitable mission, have a vision for the future, and can clearly articulate it. I look forward to working with the board, committees, the team, and volunteers to recalibrate our efforts. We are keen to create engaging virtual activity for members, donors, and corporate partners that fit with our strategy. With in-person events unlikely, we need to double down on efforts to secure funding from every available source: foundation grants, corporate partnerships, legacy gifts, individual donations, and merchandise. The team is excited about the potential of our next chapter. We want to ensure that our membership embraces the work, so do look out for further updates. And of course, I welcome any advice, support, introductions, or assistance to grow our society. 2021 will bring challenges, but based on what I have witnessed from our members and community, I am optimistic about the future of St George's Society. I hope you are too.